Hey everyone, Rob here from Gunfather Milsim, bringing you another video that was basically started out on the CQB subreddit. This is another CQB test. The last one was just basically a high-risk room clearing. This one is another test that was submitted. It's a hostage rescue scenario on a very large kind of corporate building. The scenario is there's 7 hostages. Most of them, the intel is, are being held in the CEO's office. There's an unknown number of armed bad guys, and we're going to go in and we're going to rescue those hostages. Now, the rules established in the post limit you to only 6 operators, and I recently, a couple days ago, I posted my solution using 6 operators, which is not even close to enough. It should be more like 15 to 20. Doorkickers will only allow you to use 9 maximum. So the solution I'm going to post here is with 9. It's still short, but it's a lot easier than doing it with 6, and I think it's a lot easier to kind of explain things using 9. So this is what you're going to see today. So basically the 2 things we're balancing here is safety and speed. And since there's hostages, we're willing to give up a lot of safety in order to gain a lot of speed. So here it is.
Ready to play. Moving. In position. On target position. Moving. Looks clear. Looks clear. In position. On target. In position. On contact. No contact. Moving. Tango down. Straight down. Looks clear. No target positioning. No tango. On target. Straight down.
Time to say goodbye.
Straight down.
Good job. We're done here.
So now we're going to break this one down a little bit. Once again, we start out with an explosive breach because they're awesome. Our 2 breachers are protected by 2 riflemen who are slightly exposed, but they're on either edge of the door, so they still have some cover, and they engage 1 target at the end of the hall and put them down. Here's where the game can be a little limiting. As much as I want to have both these teams rush down this hall because it is a hostage rescue and speed is essential, I have to have this left team hold up for just a second so the right team gets to that opening, that door in the next room to the right, so they can cover them as they pass by in the hall. And obviously they split the door and they engage 2 tangos, one of which is in the deeper room up above. Now this is kind of worth noting. As this team crosses to the right to continue clearing this room, one of the guys is going to break off and do a solo clear on the room farthest to the right, and the other 2 guys cross the opening to the next room above them simultaneously to cover him crossing that open area, just to cover his left flank. So now we really are starting to see the teams break up into the different clearing elements. Basically, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is that solo guy down there who's going to have to do a solo clear on that room just because we don't have the manpower. Team 3 is not going to wait for that last guy to clear that room and catch up to him. There's no time. They're just going to go. So Team 1 is our largest element with 4 officers. Why is it the largest? Because it's going directly to the CEO's office, which is where our intel says most of the hostages are at. Therefore, since that's most hostages, that's probably where most of the hostage takers are at. Now you'll notice the first 2 officers in that team are going to split this open door. Now, why are we splitting an open door? It's dangerous. It exposes that officer. Yes, it does. But it also gets 2 guns in the fight very quickly and gets 2 people that can see the entire room as quickly as possible. Once again, we're giving up safety in exchange for speed. You compare this to the last scenario where we only split 1 door, and the 1 door we split was closed, so they could pass that door with concealment. It was low risk and high gain. In a regular clear, it's just usually not worth splitting an open door. It's just too much risk. In this particular hostage rescue scenario, this is actually the 4th open door that our officers have split. They were 1, 2, 3, and finally this one is 4. So Team 1 splits that door, engages 1 target. Meanwhile, Team 2 is just setting up to start clearing their area, and they've run into a locked door that they're going to have to breach. Team 3 is going to start clearing that cubicle area, and Team 4, which is a 1-man less than ideal, is going to deploy a bang to do a solo clear on this room on the lower right. So that single guy deploys his bang, successfully engages the target, puts him down. Team 1 makes entry into this next hallway. Guy on the left engages the target way down the hall. Team 2 finally breaches that door, and Team 3 is going to continue clearing those cubicles. It's kind of worth noting that although they can provide each other cross coverage as they approach each new office, they then snap and turn and essentially are doing one-man clears on those cubicles. Once again, lack of manpower, and it's hostage rescue, so they're going to take that risk to clear it quickly. So Team 2 finally breaches that door, and this is kind of a tricky spot because once they breach it, it actually opens up into 2 rooms, which although those 2 operators are together, one is kind of forced to engage a target in the deep room to his right, and as he steps forward to finish the clear, the other guy has to turn and cover that hard corner to the left to cover his flank. So essentially, although they're together, they're each clearing 2 entirely different spaces. Fortunately, as it's a corner fed, well, they're both corner fed rooms, it's an easy one-man clear to complete. Meanwhile, Team 1's really starting to split up. The lead guy is still heading towards that CEO's office, which is where most of our hostages are supposed to be. Number 2 guy moves down towards the storage area, mostly just to cover the flank of everybody heading towards the CEO office. The 3rd guy is going to go join the 1st guy on that office assault. And the 4th guy, I was kind of stumped on this one. Honestly, what I had him do is he's going to hold long cover on that hallway, because at the end of the hall, all there is a closet, which really isn't that big a high-risk deal. Low probability of hostages. But honestly, in retrospect, I probably should have had him join the other 2 in assaulting the CEO's office, because if you're going to bump up something, you got to bump up with a 3rd man, the place where most of the hostages are going to be. So some legitimate criticism that I probably, instead of having him hold long on that hallway, which is pretty much pointless, I should have had him join these other 2. So Team 3 is continuing to clear the cubicles. They got 1 kill there, and here you see that cross coverage finally pays off, and the guy on the right kills a bad guy on the left, which is why they were doing the cross coverage in the first place. You'll notice our long-lost solo operator in Team 4 is trying to catch up to assist those guys, but as it's hostage rescue speed, it's just not going to happen. He can't catch up to them, and that's realistic. Sometimes you're going to be stuck with nothing to do because you can't catch up to the rest of the team. Team 2 is moving down that hallway towards that large office area, and Team 4 is finally setting up to breach that door and do the final assault. So our lone guy clearing the storage rooms here manages to get a kill. Meanwhile, Team 1 is finally making an entry on this final room. I got 1 guy breaching the door, and I got another guy who's going to be set up to basically be a shooter as soon as the door opens. So basically, it's a one-man clear at this point. All the more reason I probably should have brought that 3rd guy down so he could assist, so we could at least get 2 guns in the room as soon as possible. Lucky for him, that officer does have a clear shot on a bad guy who's about to kill a hostage, and he successfully engages him. I actually tried this scenario a couple different times, and in the event the other guy breached the door, the guy on the right breached, and the guy on the left was ready to shoot, this particular bad guy did successfully kill that hostage. So it's worth noting it was pretty much 50-50 shot of getting this right or wrong.
Time to say goodbye.
Team 1 continues their threshold assault and engages a second bad guy. Meanwhile, Team 2 deploys a bang, finally hits that last office. They move up to the vertical pivot point as 2 shooters and take out the final bad guy, thus ending the scenario.
Good job. We're done here.
So that was my solution to this particular hostage rescue problem. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm probably going to do a few more of these as long as they keep posting them. They said they're going to post them every week. And as long as I think it's a good opportunity, a good teaching tool for you guys, I'm going to keep breaking them down using Doorkickers and showing them to you. Still selling Gunfather Milsim patches. They're $8 a piece. If you want them, get a hold of me either on the Gunfather Milsim Facebook page. Just send me a message or email me at gunfathermilsim@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.